started with the meeting. So Tersano is a company that's been around from since about 2008, roughly. Was when we first started launching equipment and whatnot, and primarily our stuff was made for the residential market at that time. Bo was probably been around that long with our organization in some capacity. We had a little coffee pot type machine that you pushed a button and a couple of minutes later it made aqueous ozone. And aqueous ozone is a technology that's been around for a very long period of time. That aqueous ozone in that particular form lasted about 15 minutes. And you had to regenerate the product on a frequent basis if you were going to be doing any type of commercial cleaning. So, we had a lot of rave reviews. We were on Rachel Ray several times, and also we were involved with Donnie Deutsch on the Time Magazine Product of the Year. Our first big break became when our company, back in the late 2008 or 7 or 8, there was a large E. coli breakout. I don't know if you guys remember that. And the University of Florida did a bunch of studies and found that our product was effective at killing E. coli in less than a minute. So a lot of the food processing facilities, hey, there's a presentation. You did it. Thank you. So a lot of the food processing facilities, went to, using our product. You had a lot of migrant workers handling fruits and vegetables. E. coli was everywhere. Our product became very, very popular at that point. So who we are is it's a small screen. So we are a technology company that focuses on providing sanitizing and disinfecting solutions by utilizing technology. Okay. We manufacture, what we do is we manufacture a very simple 2-component program to producing simple, safe, and sustainable solutions for folks like yourselves, right? So we have a stabilization cartridge and we have an ozone generation device. We primarily work with folks in a variety of areas where people gather: schools, airports, hospitals, Class A office buildings, et cetera, et cetera. Lindsay, you can advance the screen. So I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of small screen, but we have, again, a 2-component system. There's a cartridge on the left-hand side of that unit, and then that cartridge screws directly into your water source there in the facility in the custodial closet. What it does is that water then goes into what we call our stabilizer, and the stabilizer, in effect, is primarily a filtration type device, and it's patented. And what we're doing is we're filtering out all the elements in water that are detrimental to the half-life of creating ozone. Remember, and I told you we had the machine before that created ozone, but it only lasted 15 minutes. That's because we didn't have this filtration device on there at that time. So, so what comes out of that filter and goes into the ozone generator or the SAO dispenser or the Lotus, depending on how long you've been around. Both seen all 3 transitions. What goes into that water that comes out there is is a very highly filtered product, similar to Dasani water that Coca-Cola manufactures. Okay, so if you're going to buy filtered water at a store, buy the Dasani. It's the cleanest water that's out there, just letting you know. So when it goes into that device, though, what happens inside of that unit is we have an ozone generator in there. And what we do is we infuse the water with 4,500 volts of electricity. And when we do that, gentlemen, what happens is we add an atom of oxygen to the water. So in effect, we change the molecular structure of water. Okay, it's a little frustrating for me doing this job for nearly 3 years, and people say, "Oh, you can't clean with just water." I said, "Well, we're not just water. We change the molecular structure of water to we make it H2O3. We have an SDS sheet, right, and whatnot, and it shows who we are and what we do. So it's all zeros, by the way, on our SDS sheet, and we'll get into that a little bit later. There are a couple of our product is designed to do about 90% of the cleaning in a facility like yours. You're still going to need a graffiti remover. You're still going to need a hard water remover. We sell one. It's called Pro Scrub. There's a picture of it on there. Ours happens to be designed for the environment, very, very safe, and it's got a food safe rating on it as well. Does great on hard water and soap scum. I don't know if you guys have shower rooms or if people use them still in schools and where you guys are. Water faucets, when you're drinking out of the fountain, you get the little white spots on the stainless there. It's great for removing that. And it also does a really good job at once a week taking it and spraying right above the water line in the toilet to get that white chalky line off there, especially when the buildings have been closed for a period of time, right? Some folks will continue to use a hospital grade disinfectant because they want to spray door handles at the end of the day, that kind of thing, touch points. Can I ask you guys, are you union or non-union district up there in Ohio?
They're almost all union up here.
Okay.
I don't know one that's not. Beyond one of our private Catholic schools, everybody else is union.
Okay. The only reason I was asking is because in Iowa, we've got a couple of school systems in Iowa. Our product is so safe, simple, and easy to use. They actually bring bottles right into the classroom, and kids are cleaning their desks in between.
We have no problem with that. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We have no problem with that. Our kids.
Okay. So, and when I presented that in Chicago, I had to get in the car and run as fast as I could because the union guys were chasing me down the street. Yeah. So, I got to be a little cognizant of the union guys, right? So, you can advance the screen, Lindsay. So we're going to skip that screen because that video doesn't always work, and let's just get into talking to you about how it works. What stabilized aqueous ozone does for you is that it basically, in regards to dirt, grime, viruses, and bacteria, it breaks the molecular bond off the surfaces so that it makes it easy to clean up. And if it's a virus, our product, as opposed to poisoning viruses like traditional cleaning chemicals and disinfectants do, ours actually kills it by penetrating the outer shell of viruses. The current virus that's out there, SARS-CoV-2, is on the hierarchy of viruses, one of the easier viruses to kill. Okay, so because we call it large enveloped virus, it's easily penetrable, and when we break the shell, it instantly dies. But our product does a really good job, on protein-based soils, of just breaking the bond off there and cleaning it up right away. Okay. So that's the Reader's Digest version of how it works without getting too far into the weeds. You can go ahead, Lindsay. Lindsay, that's a very nice flower arrangement over your shoulder there, by the way. So from an efficiency standpoint, this is common in a lot of schools and universities. We frequently find a storage facility in the building. This particular one, if you guys can see that, it's a picture of a school system in Salt Lake City schools. And they had 52 different cleaning chemicals that they were utilizing at that time when I went in there. And I said, how did you ever get the 52? I mean, who determines what happens? And, they broke the school system. So I don't know, I think there's 80 something buildings in the district, if I remember right. They break it up into region or areas, and, somebody has 6, 7, 8 schools that they manage, and they let that management guy make their own decisions as to what cleaning chemical program that they were going to use. That's how you get the 52. Okay. It just got out of control trying to manage all that, figure out, do all that type of training, the exposure, the liability, except the costs. It's insane, right? They switched over to our product and program, and we've got them down to 3. So they use my stuff. They use the Pro Scrub, and they use a kitchen degreaser. Actually, they're down to about a graffiti remover. That's 4. There's 4 products that they're using. Graffiti remover. I can't help kids drawing with permanent markers on the wall. Okay, we just got to fire the kids or something. I don't know, but just think about how easy though. I mean, from an efficiency standpoint, it's so important when you're talking about trying to train a staff that seems to be always in flux, right? You're always hiring 4 or 5 guys, or there's always turnover in the field. People leave the industry for a variety of different reasons. This makes it so simple. You give them a bottle of this. They can't hurt themselves. Very important. They can't hurt any students. Also important. They can't ruin any surfaces, right? Just go clean with this stuff. Fill your scrubbers up, fill your buckets up, fill your spray bottles up, and go. This does 90% of what you need to do. Okay. From a health and safety perspective, it's really kind of important because we have 2 Green Seal certification numbers. We're the only product in the industry that I'm aware of, haven't looked in a while, that has 2 Green Seal GS37 and GS53. We have both. Okay. Frequently we get asked, hey, are you GS37? Yeah, well, we're both. We're 53 and 37. So we also are 000 on an SDS sheet. No PPE is required. We always tell people to wear gloves at least, because it's not the product in this case that is the issue of being harmful to your skin. It's the stuff that you're cleaning, right? You should be wearing PPE, at least gloves, right? We're VOC, 0 VOCs. So frequently we have a lot of our clients and distributors like JR and Bo. They distribute different types of sprayers to apply product on, right? And our product works in all those, but you can use them while people are in classrooms and spray them down because there's 0 VOCs with my product. Not an issue at all. And then when you start looking at the economic side of it, our stabilization cartridge, the black cartridge on the left there, the SAO 24, which we make 2 different ones. We make an SAO 24 and an SAO 4. The SAO 24 is about 80% of our sales. Wouldn't you agree, Bo? So 80% of our sales are a 24-hour stabilizer. The product has enough efficacy, enough saturated ozone in the bottle for a 24-hour period of time that you can spray and wipe and have a 10-second dwell time against SARS-CoV-2. And then the next day, we ask that you take that bottle, whatever's left in it, put it in your scrubber, put it in your bucket, put it in your carpet extractor, whatever, put it in your plants. It makes great for your roses and or tomato plants, but you can't use it to disinfect surfaces. Okay, it loses some efficacy every day. The product will last an additional 5 days though as a cleaner. Okay, so getting back to the cartridges, when we're talking about a cost savings, right? If you're using the SAO 24 cartridge, your cost per ready-to-use gallon, because it makes 800 gallons of solution, is about 44 cents a gallon. Okay, very inexpensive. I know your neutral floor cleaner that you use is less expensive than that, but everything else in your arsenal that you're using in that school is more expensive than that. So when you take it all into consideration, and the fact that it's simple, safe, sustainable, and you take in the fact that the training issues go away because we really don't have a whole bunch of training to do with this, and then workman's comp issues that could potentially happen with traditional cleaning chemicals. Don't know if I'm sure you've seen things in the past where the custodial guy is the closet chemist and decides that, the blue glass cleaner and this bowl cleaner, I think if you mix them together would be awesome to spray and clean something with, right? And then they find the guy passed out in the corner of the restroom, right? And hopefully it's only passed out because every year there's probably a dozen cases out there of people who actually have passed away from chemical complications, right? The last one, back, I guess it was about the last one that I mean, they happen all the time. Not too far back though. There was a guy at a Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't know, mix some kind of bleach and ammoniated product together at a Buffalo Wild Wings. They had to clear the whole thing out. Several people went to the hospital, and the manager, the genius that he was, ran into the kitchen and tried to squeegee the stuff down the drain. And, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. So these things happen all the time. Not trying to abuse scare tactics, but it's a reality, right? So less labor, less water, less training, no, significant reduction in liability. And also on the liability side, our slip coefficient is at 0.96. You're a traditional floor cleaner from Spartan or Betco there, or Maze, or any of those guys is at 0.6. Okay, so we're 40% more slip resistant. If you put this on your gym floors in the schools, your basketball coaches are going to love you. All right. You can flip the screen, please. Thank you. So prior to 2020, we sold most of our machines right based on this slide right here. So this particular slide talks about our sustainability message. And at the end of this presentation, you'll see a who's who of all the organizations that we do business with, because we call on sustainability departments all around the world, right? So the cartridge, it makes 800 gallons. The other cartridge makes 1,600 gallons, by the way. I was remiss and didn't mention that. But when they expire, they get about 50 gallons of capability left. You'll get a yellow or an amber light on the machine that says change cartridge. When the cartridge completely expires, the machine shuts down. So you're never putting just water into a bucket or a bottle or anything like that. You're always putting solution in there. When you change that cartridge, which is 2 quick connect hoses, right? And really it's a quarter turn counterclockwise. It comes off, the whole thing comes off a bracket. It weighs about 14 pounds, I think. You put the next one on there, turn it clockwise, the 2 hoses, you're back in business. But the old cartridge goes in the box that you just opened. And inside that box, we provide a label that allows you to ship that cartridge back to our facility where we recycle it. So nothing goes into the landfill. And then remember, our solution stays active for 6 days and then it turns back to water. So nothing goes in the landfill and nothing needs to be treated downstream. Okay. And so we are a 0 carbon footprint program. It's amazing to be able to tell people when everybody has sustainability issues in today's world. It's all over TV 24/7. We have a 0 carbon footprint program. Nobody in our industry has that. Okay. We have a running clock on our website that shows how many liters/gallons of barrels product that we've kept out of landfills. It's pretty impactful. The screen on our right there was made by those are all third party. That's all third party information that was given to us about things that they've experienced by using our product and program. Next screen, please. So again, it's an all-in-one cleaning solution. You can spray it everywhere in your facility. It's a great carpet cleaner. It's a great glass cleaner. It's streak-free. We leave no biofilm behind. Okay. It cleans and shines as well as any product. I've been in the business for 35 years, as well as any product that I've ever used, and better in most instances, right? Next screen. Go ahead, Lindsay. There it is. So we can make probably 10 pages like this of all the companies that we do business with around the world. There's a couple of them that stand out, right? Tell you, Stanford University is a big client of ours. Every building at Stanford, every building that has the name Stanford on it will have our system in there, including a healthcare facility, athletic department, all the academic rooms and residents like started with one dispenser. They'll have over 500 by the year 2023. So that's pretty cool. The funny story there is the P&G one. I know JR likes this story. P&G is the Procter & Gamble facility that makes cleaning chemicals located in Hamilton, Ohio, I want to say, or Hamilton, just outside of Cincinnati or Cincinnati, depending on, you know, where you're from, I guess. They got fined by the wastewater treatment company because of the amount of butyl cellulosol that was being emitted into the water, into the wastewater system from their big scrubbers that they run. And they determined that it was the product that they manufacture was causing them to get fined. And they fill those big scrubbers up now with my stuff. So that's pretty cool little story there. If you want to go to the next screen, what do we got next, Lindsay? I think we have a pathogen sheet. No? JR, can you load the pathogen sheet?
I can bring up, we made a landing page where we have some of the research that you guys have done, the studies that you've posted to your website and such.
Okay.
You can bring that up.
You can bring that up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Ryan and team, real quick, while she's doing that, because we got to be cognizant of Greg's time. He has a hard time. He's got to get off because he's got a plane to catch.
Sure.
Questions that are in your mind right now, I'd love to get them on the table so he can maybe answer those.
The presentation is outstanding. You made it really, you dummied it down, made it perfect. So it's been wonderful.
Dumbing things down is my specialty.
Talk to our right through breath.
The pathogen
Lindsay,
sheet is loading.
Lindsay's pulling up a pathogen sheet, and I'm sure JR and or Bo, Lindsay, somebody can send you all this data as well.
Yeah.
But what you'll find is that not only do we kill, we have 5 different tests now in regards to the COVID SARS-CoV-2 virus. We're a global company, so we do business all over the world, right? And we've got 5 different tests now that show that we can inactivate the virus at a 99.9% rate with a 10-second dwell time. There's no other product like this in the world. I could spray and wipe this off on any surface right now and be successful against that. But we also have a complete pathogen sheet that you'll find that we're going to send to you that will show that we're effective against H1N1. We're effective. We did a measles test, believe it of all things. I thought we were vaccinating people against measles in this country. However, we have a lot of people in the southwestern portion of the country that are not, we don't have their vaccination records for a variety of reasons. I'll just leave it at that.
Hey, Greg,
Okay.
we do have a question for you.
But
Be a stupid question, but so that all of us invested heavily in electrostatic sprayers. So my assumption is that this will no longer, I mean, you wouldn't probably use an electrostatic sprayer with this sort of product, correct?
that's not a dumb question. It's a great question. And we actually have a third-party test from a lab up in Minneapolis called Biomedical Engineering that did some testing for us and shows that our product is still effective using electrostatic sprayers or fog, different. Are you guys selling, which one are you selling, JR? I don't remember.
No, we have electrostatic sprayer. So we have tested it with Victory and eMist. So those, and yeah, Rod, the
key thing to know in that regard is that our product is effective in anything at 4 microns or larger, 40 microns or larger. I'm sorry.
Right.
So it's all about the droplet size. The actual charging of the water is not at any effect on our solution at all. Okay, doesn't change the molecular structure of ours. Okay.
So really the
24 hours.
The use of those products, Rod, are going to just be a benefit using Tersano, because again, those are also made to save you time and money in labor costs, because of how much area you can get the product to versus spraying and wiping. So we're we're huge proponents of the electrostatic sprayers. Tersano works fantastic in it. And like Greg alluded to earlier, that the EPA is coming out with guidelines on the products that can be put into electrostatic sprayers, as he was talking about VOCs, and Tersano will have zero issues when the EPA makes that list available.
So, and we have an extensive, you know, we're effective against staph and E. coli, et cetera, listeria. Do you guys wrestle up in Ohio still? They have high school wrestling?
Yes.
Yeah, of course they do. Big Ten, right? So, I've got testimonials that'll show. There's a gentleman somewhere in Minnesota, another dealer worked with them. I think the facility is called Pinnacle Wrestling, and I can't remember the gentleman who runs it, but he was an Olympian, gold medalist Olympian, and he uses this product to clean. Not only, he cleans the mats down, and he sprays the kids' equipment down and all that kind of stuff. He even sprays the kids when during the peak of the pandemic, they get a tank sprayer and spraying the kids as they walked in, right? But he told me they do, and I can't remember the terminology, but when you have a skin irritation on one of the mats, they have to fill out some kind of medical sheet. And prior to using, if they become infected from, a carpet burn or a mat burn, whatever, they have to fill out this sheet. And prior to switching over to our program, he said he would fill out 35 to 40 of these sheets on an annual basis. And he said last year they filled out 0. So, they thoroughly spray the thing down and they take a flat mop and wipe it off after every event, right? So they're killing all the staph and MRSA and ringworm that, attract onto these mats, right? So it's pretty impactful. And then here's the thing, right? If you use the system, there's some operational issues that we can certainly help you with. I'll just shoot, and there's a couple of questions that you're going to get, and let me help you through that real quick. Even though you haven't asked it, I'm going to ask it for you. What about List N? Okay, and let's just put that right on the table. We're not regulated by the CDC because we're not a chemical. So we're regulated by FIVRA. It's a different agency. I've got all the documentation. I can send to JR and Lindsay, and they can forward that to you. And the FIVRA Act shows that, and there's actually a CDC document that I can send to you that shows that, generators like ourselves and UV units and HVAC type systems all fall under this FIVRA Act, right? And, they're not regulated, but the one thing about everything on that particular List N that you'll find is that they created List N because when this pandemic started, nobody knew what to do on how to kill this virus, right? And List N comprises of a bunch of different chemicals that show they kill a virus. When we were talking about the hierarchy of viruses before, it shows they kill a harder to kill virus. Ours does as well. I mean, we kill canine parvo, and we've got tests against other harder to kill small non-enveloped viruses, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the hardest ones.
Hey, Greg, are we permitted to spray without wiping it off? So before our teachers leave the room, and all Northwest Ohio, they leave, they spray their door handles and just go home?
They can do that, yeah. Are they going to clean throughout the day once in a while?
Our custodians, yes, but when our teachers leave, they're usually alone.
Yeah, they can do that. Yep.
And let it sit.
They would spray it thoroughly down and let it air dry.
Okay.
Unless they see blood or if somebody sneezed on a door handle or, somebody just got done eating some ice cream, a kid, and got something sticky all over it, you can spray it and walk away. You want to thoroughly spray it so it stays wet for at least 10 seconds, right? And the wetter, the better. But List N, just getting back to that. None of the products that are on that list have ever tested against SARS-CoV-2. So let me ask you guys this. Is it important to have a product that kills, that actually been tested directly against the virus? Or you're assuming that this chemical, when used properly, which is usually a 2 or 3 step process, depending on the type of product, and there's a 10-minute dwell time with a lot of these things, and if you use them all as prescribed, you're effective as well against the virus. So that's really where it falls down. You know, if we all follow the protocols of every chemical that's manufactured up there in Toledo, Spartan and Becco and all those guys, Mays, you know, you're going to need to triple your staff because your labor hours are going to go through the roof if you're going to follow it to the T. Does that make sense? No? Maybe?
They're on mute.
I'm sorry.
You're on mute, Ryan. There you go.
Yeah, we were testing out, see if you guys are still here. Yes, that makes sense, Greg.
So we're trying to increase your productivity, improve the product of the quality of the cleanliness and sanitation of the facility, and do it in a safe and friendly way to do it, right? You can give the kid a bottle to clean his own desk. I don't know what else I have to say there, right? You have any other questions, gentlemen?
No, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Greg.
Well, let me ask you this too. If I can be of any assistance, and I'm going to send you guys some more information from the plane, but if I can be of any additional assistance, if you need JR and Lindsay or this team here to jump in on a presentation to your organization or the individual organizations or the whole group, we'd love to have that opportunity as well.
Thank you. JR has been absolutely wonderful for us to work with. We calls on spot, so we appreciate all of you guys.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. JR, do you want to wrap this up before?
Yeah. Hey, you safe travels, my friend. All right.
No worries.
Okay. Hey, no, again, Greg, thanks a lot. And again, Ryan, you know, we're here however we can help you moving forward. You know, and Greg hit on everything that I think we have probably had conversations about. You know, again, as a former school leader myself, the point that I keep making to you, Lindsay, can you go down to the use slide, all the different ways you can use it? You know, to me, this is the slide that is so important as well to eliminate 90 to 95% of all the stuff that you're already using, that this one product can do all of that for you. It's just a no-brainer to me. And, you know, again, from a training standpoint, if you have spent money on electrostatic sprayers, this is going to work wonderful in it. Again, if people want to have the COVID conversation, we can. It's a 10-second kill. Nothing else out there is saying that. If you leave it wet and someone walks up to it and they touch it and they put their hand in their mouth, it does 0 damage or 0 harm to them. So that's, again, Ryan, you've heard me have this conversation with you several times. So we just want to help. We want to help you talk to whoever you need to talk to. And if you don't have any more questions, I think we're good, gentlemen. And lady, I'm sorry.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.